Hello, I am author Eileen Schnabel, author of the Kep Westguard Time Travel to the American Revolution series, and I was here to tell you a little bit about my most recent book, Kep Westguard, The Great Escape. In this story, Kep has an ancestor who has been caught by the British and is being held in General Burgoyne's camp right before the Battle of Saratoga. If his ancestor is not saved, then Kep will not be born. So he has a lot of incentive to make sure his ancestor gets free, and that's the gist of the story. But in all of my stories, I incorporate a lot of real historic figures, and today I was going to tell you a little bit about one, and her name is Lady Harriet Acland. And she is quite an interesting character, and I was going to tell you a little bit, and there's my reading glasses, about her. She appears as a character in the story, but she in real life was there as well. So Lady Harriet Acland, wife of Major John Acland, defied convention during the American Revolution. Refusing to stay in England, she sailed to be with her husband, accompanied by her mother, valet, maid, and even her dog. Despite her aristocratic background, she fearlessly embraced war's challenges, documenting her journey in a diary. She was at Saratoga when Burgoyne surrendered in October 17th, 1777. And part of her story that is really cool, see if you can see this, is what happens while she's there. So her husband was captured by the Americans and injured and taken captive. And she desperately wanted to go be with him and nurse him because she didn't really trust the other side, the enemy, to nurse him like she would, which makes sense. Well, it was unheard of for a woman at that time to travel alone between enemy lines to get to her husband, but she insisted. She did get permission from British General Burgoyne, but when she got to the American side, they wouldn't let her land. She's in a rowboat. Until morning, at which time Gates, the American General Gates, allowed her to land. She had her, white flag. She traveled with an army chaplain, and he allowed the boat to land. She explained the situation, and she was allowed to stay with her husband. And interestingly enough, he survives the war. She does a good job nursing him, to the extent that after the war, they're back in England. They're released. They both survive. And he dies in a duel, kind of defending American honor, which is an ironic way to end the story, but that is how the story ends. Anyway, you can learn more about her and other interesting historic characters in Kep Westguard, The Great Escape. I'm wishing you a wonderful day. Learn some history today if you can.